I present you my top 10 places of Switzerland I've visited in the year 2024, of which I think some might be interesting for you for an upcoming trip. As I've been exploring almost all of Switzerland over the past 5 years, I've seen and experienced a lot. Yet, I'm always fascinated by the new discoveries I'm still making up to today. Thus, I'm most happy to enlighten you with some fresh ideas for your holidays in Switzerland. Hello everyone, Happy New Year 2025 to all of you. Let's directly get started with my number 10, and that would be my visits to the Lenzerheide. Bleon and I went here twice for 2 different attractions, though both of them were night attractions and all about the lights. We went to Lenzerheide for visiting the magical forest called Zauberwald that enchants its visitors with its wonderful lightings. Already the entrance was quite a fascination when passing this gate. The forest was full of colors. Really beautiful were also these dancers scattered all over. Any less colorful was a light ride, probably the most fun and creative toboggan run I've ever tried in Switzerland. I saw this on the Parc des Cans page. My first thought was that this also must be the real-life version of Mario Kart's Rainbow Boulevard. The ride was super easy and very fun to race against others. Well, actually, Bleon had no chance, but at the end he was a little smarter by figuring out that the last bit requires to turn right. Great, but sadly too short toboggan run, but no worries, there is a much longer section of this toboggan run that you need to pass first to make it to the start of the light ride, which easily compensates for that. As you can see, Lenzerheide is very colorful during winter nights, the enchanted forest only during December and early January. The light ride will stay open until the end of the winter season. Number 9 were last year's spectacular floods at the Rheinfalls. I can say that last summer was certainly odd. May was already very rainy, June did not get any better. This caused terrible floods and even devastation in some parts of Switzerland, like in Ticino. The heavy rainfall also much affected the Rheinfalls. Thanks goodness, not in a negative way, but rather in making them appear even more impressively. It has been quite a while since the Rheinfalls have been this powerful. Certain parts were blocked due to being partially underwater. The boat ride to the rock in the middle wasn't even possible for weeks, this due to the current being so strong that the boat could not even reach it. Besides, it would also have been too dangerous. This grand spectacle has attracted numerous visitors from all over the country, made the Rheinfalls unusually busy during June, which normally is not really much of a travel month. Number 8, we're going adventurous, heading to the canton of Appenzell. I think this was probably my biggest surprise in 2024. Normally, when we talk about canyoneering, a Swiss would rather think of Ticino or the Bern Oberland, but this place in the canton of Appenzell unlikely comes to our mind first. This was certainly one of the easiest canyoneering trails I've ever done, and so will be for you if you consider trying such an activity for the first time. We started at this point here, passed by this house, and then headed down towards the canyon. We chose to bring waterproof backpacks, things for a barbecue and enough water. The creek at the canyon was quite cool, around 15 to 80 degrees Celsius, but definitely doable, especially during summer when the temperatures easily climbed above 25 degrees. The trail was around 2 kilometers long, there were a few jumps that we had to do, and after about 1.5 hours we chose to go for a quick lunch break. All in all, the canyoneering took us about 2.5 hours. At times, it quite reminded me of the Kawasan Fall Trail in the Philippines, but certainly this one here was cooler, a lot easier and definitely less crowded. Here I would like to say a big thank you to Iwona, a Swiss author whose books I very much enjoy reading. For example, this one here, it shows the best paddling runs in all of Switzerland. Her books are also available in English. Number 7 was my visit to the Saas Valley. After nearly 3 years, I made my way back to Saas-Fee, Saastal, a region of Switzerland that I love very much. This time I came here with my friend Kizo and we explored this region through hiking. We spent a great time, especially at the Matmark Dam just above Saas-Almagell. The hike was super easy, perfect even for first timers. On that day in early October, we were fortunate of being nearly alone and being blessed with very sunny weather, which much contributed to us having a great time up there. During peak season, certainly there will be quite more people up there, but as it's very spacious around the lake and you being nestled in the Alps, you will feel like you're at the end of the world. The hike took us about 90 minutes. On average, I would say it's best to plan in for 2 hours. We passed this tunnel, a few waterfalls, and we always admired the lake's light turquoise shine. We had many great impressions and we both think that this hike is very much underrated. We spent our nights at the Hotel Cristal Saphir in Saas-Almagell, which we found a great place to stay, quite price-worth and well located as you can just park in front of the hotel, which is not possible if you stay up in Saas-Fee, that is car-free. Also, the hotel is just next to the bus stop if you arrive here by public transport. Talking about that, since you stay in the region, almost any accommodation provides you a Saastal card, which allows you to use the local public transportation for free, this from summer to autumn. We had a great stay at the Hotel Cristal Saphir. The rooms are cozy, you may enjoy a nice view from the balcony over the village and or the surrounding mountains, and there is even a small spa with a steam bath and whirlpools. Quite a highlight was the restaurant. On every Tuesday they offer a big all-you-can-eat raclette buffet. In summary, the Hotel Cristal Saphir is a great and cost-effective accommodation and a great starting point for exploring the region. We also went to Saas-Grund to ascend up to Kreuzboden, which we enjoyed very much. Thanks to the weather, we were able to get a great vista over the iconic summits of the Allerlinhorn and the Dome. We then chose to go for a quick hike to the Kreuzboden Lake. They now added this new frame, which we found super cool. This, by the way, is a great place to visit for families and kids. On our way back, we crossed the Fokker Pass Road, one of my favorites in Switzerland, by the way also a James Bond film location, which was showcased in Goldfinger. The sunset up there was absolutely spectacular. With number 6 we're going very festive, and this was the National Day Parade on the 1st of August. This was probably one of my biggest surprises in 2024. I thought it would be a nice National Day celebration up in Morgin, but then I got to know that there will be only festivities going on in nearby Champéry. Thanks to Gabi and René, I chose to celebrate with them over there. The moment we arrived at the village of Champéry, we found it in its most festively decorated way. It was absolutely beautiful. This really made me wonder, are the people in Valais more patriotic than my home canton? There were many cultural performances going on, groups yodeling, trichlo marching through the alleys. Even a group from French New Caledonia gave a guest performance. Absolutely beautiful culture. The very highlight was the parade starting after sunset. The firefighters distributed loads of torches to the spectators. The march then began, many groups arrived, people from sports associations, the ski instructors, brass bands and so on. During the parade, I captured this moment of flag-throwing performances with the spectators holding the torches and the fireworks showing up in the background. Wow! I can say this was by far the best Swiss National Day parade I've ever witnessed. Make sure to arrive here by train, as there are too many people coming here by car, and you unlikely will find any place to park. We're now moving to the upper half of the top 10 places I've visited in Switzerland in the year 2024. Number 5 would be the Schreyenbachfalls. I finally managed to visit one of the most peculiar waterfalls of Switzerland. I even did it twice, once alone and then again with Bleon. The waterfalls are located in the canton of Glarus, nearly at the very end of the Linth Valley. From the parking lot, it took an easy 15 minutes walk to reach the waterfalls. The moment we got here, we were like, wow. What an amazing waterfall with its many branches, absolutely beautiful. This quite reminded me of my visit to the Tumalog Falls in the Philippines. You see this fantastic waterfall and you wonder what should be now peculiar about it. These waterfalls could easily be more famous, but the reason they aren't is because they are not visible during all year. The waterfall is turned on only during 45 days per year, starting from mid-June until very early August. The Schreyenbachfalls are mostly not visible as the water is used for energy production, but the locals they insisted it on at least be receiving water for a short period. The waterfalls are perfect to be combined with the nearby Bergestüber and the Klausenpass. Make sure to arrive at the waterfalls during the morning. After roughly 2 p.m. you will no longer receive any sunlight. If you're enjoying this video so far, I would highly appreciate if you could press the like button. Also, I noticed many of you're regularly watching my videos, but you're actually still not subscribed until now. So if you want to subscribe, then you're most free to do so. I always post videos about Switzerland, Southeast Asia and the world, especially this year I'm going to post more videos about Southeast Asia and the many other countries here in Europe. Alright, and now let's continue with number 4, and this would be the upper part of the Val d'Airain. Bleon and we have been talking about this since a long time. We made our way to Eberle in February. We really enjoyed our visit despite this early year's winter being poor in terms of snowfall. We came again during August and then decided to explore the upper parts of the valley. We headed all the way to Fechtbekle to hike up to see the glaciers. The hike was easy, not spectacular in the beginning, but once we reached the river and the upper delta, we were like wowed. I enjoyed so much that I decided to travel there again with a group of friends from South Africa who was invited to Switzerland. Being up at Fechtbekle feels like being far away from the world's problems. Up there you can only sense the peace, listen to the flowing water and the bells of the cows. This was one of my best discoveries of the year. Both of my visits were quite enjoyable. On the first day it was cloudy and a little bit rainy. On the second day the weather was sunny. The very highlight were the cows just by the river delta, perfectly complementing this unique scene with the melting glacier and the mountains in the background. Afterwards we went to La Forclaz and roamed around the village, which was very refreshing, especially since this place is far from being touristy. Perfect for anyone who loves to explore raw and quaint villages. We then went again to Eberle, which by the way is one of the most beautiful villages of Switzerland. It looked especially nice with many Swiss flags and National Day decorations. Since there was the International Festival in Valais, same as for in Champéry with the New Caledonian group, Eberle had special guests from the US giving spectacular performances with traditional dances. And now we're up to the podium of the best things I've done here in Switzerland in the year 2024. Number 3 would be my visit to the Toggenburg. This is a region I haven't explored at all until 2024. Thanks to Bleon, who created this tour, I finally learned to admire this region of eastern Switzerland. We first started our trip to Unterwasser, took a 15 minutes easy walk to reach what the people consider being one of the most beautiful waterfalls of Switzerland. Indeed, that is right. The Torfälle are humble, yet spectacular. Already when you arrive at the gorge, they look very beautiful. However, the best was the impression of the waterfall at this small cave. That totally wowed us. Bleon even found that the waterfall resembles the one I visited in Sumba in Indonesia in 2024. By the way, I will be releasing the Sumba videos in this year 2025 to give you a new perspective of the beauty of the world. our visit was especially nice as the sunlight reached the waterfall, giving this wonderful impression. We also went upstairs to see the waterfall from the top. Quite nice, but one really has to be careful up there. After our visit to the Tor Falls, we then went up to Il Dios to access the Chwofirsten. The cabin ride was already very beautiful, but the moment we arrived up on the top, we were totally astonished. I think this is really one of the most beautiful panoramas you ever can get in Switzerland. What's best, it's not even that expensive compared to the common tourist hotspots. We further hiked from the Cheseruk to the Hinterruck, where we feel the impression is the best. It looks a little bit like up at the Alpstein or the Dolomites. The combination of the green hills and mountains, massive rocks and the lake at the southern side is absolutely brilliant. On a further visit, I really would love to hike this trail to get to see more impressions. Number 2 is one of the most serene places I've ever visited in Switzerland, and this would be in the canton of Uri. I know pretty much everyone watching here loves Lauterbrunnen, but hold your breath. This is the Lauterbrunnen Valley minus over-tourism. Bleon and I, we drove up to the village of Unterschächen and then hiked up this valley the locals call Brunnital. During May-June, the valley is especially green. There will be many waterfalls visible. Possibly there might even be more than 72 waterfalls. However, unlike in Lauterbrunnen, the waterfalls here are not as powerful, some just barely visible. Very beautiful is the part near the river. Some of the locals come here for a picnic. Now, we thought that this already has been our highlight. Well, we were wrong. We then took the cabin ride up to the Sitterschlucht and found ourselves in a true alpine paradise. We then hiked this beautiful trail, enjoyed the fantastic ensemble of this green Alp and the snow mountains blending together so nicely. At the end, we arrived at the Alpine Cheese Factory, at where we tried some of their products. Their cheese and molke were really tasty. I hope you can visit this place, but I kindly ask you to not promote this place on short videos on social media, as this is going to ruin the magic up there. I've made multiple posts on Instagram, however never revealing the location to not invite influencers digging here for views. Before I'm going to reveal you the number 1, here are a few top honorable mentions. Sion, Zermatt, the Klausjagen, the Valle Verzasca, the upper part of the Valle Maggia, or my visit to the Silsersee. And now the number 1 of my best 2024 travels here in Switzerland. These would be the many swimming places in the canton of Ticino. The various swimming places of Ticino, that's what I consider my holiest temples of nature in Switzerland. Ticino is a true mecca for canyoneering and swimming. There are just too many swimming places at where I can refuel yourself with fresh energy. Most popular are the ones at the Pozzo di Tegna and Lavartezzo, but Ticino has over 100 of such fantastic swimming places. Together with my friends Alessandro and Bleon, we've explored many of these places, which I'm going to reveal to you guys in the next year. We'll be activating channel memberships. These places, they're pristine because they're not known to the wide public, and that shall remain this way. This is why I decided to only show them to a smaller audience that only can view these videos if they will be a channel member. I went for a number of times to Ticino just to explore and enjoy more of these swimming places. Some of them, they have quite cold water, but at others it's quite warm. What I really found fascinating is that at many of these swimming places there's not only one, but many pools. Some of them even have natural water slides, which makes the experience extra cool. It's really fun to swim beneath waterfalls, it makes you feel like you were in Bali, or relax in pools that could be somewhere in the Caribbean, Indonesia or in Brazil. or to just dive into pristine clear crystal waters. As fun as it was in many of these places, some of them they require a hike to be reached. My favorite spot I went to with Alessandro, we had to go for a 40 minutes hike, which was absolutely worth it. Went to this spot that charms with its ultra green glowing waters. On the drone we even discovered another bots which seems to have not any name yet, so we called it the Pozzo dal Djemo. We had so much fun at all of these places, so that Bleon and I we could not even stop until going there for swimming in September, when the water was already quite cold, but was absolutely worth it, especially to get this shot which Bleon took with my drone. Actually quite proud of you. Not to forget, even my fellow YouTube buddy Ryan Shirley came here with his wife to see me in Ticino. Fortunately we didn't have great weather, but all over we had a great day. I hope to show him more with better sunlight next time. So many great things I've done in 2024. I hope that inspires you for a trip to Switzerland. And otherwise, if you're more interested in the top 10 villages of Switzerland, then I'm going to see you over there. Otherwise, if you're more interested in something else, then let's meet in this video.